everyone. Thanks for joining in. Just getting situated. Natasha is on her way. We're going to be answering a few questions in the next half hour. Yeah, thank you. There's a fake account pretending to be me. That's my internet or yours. Oh no. Yeah, a few people are saying it's freezing. Sorry about that. I don't know how to fix it. Thank you. Okay, is it a delay or am I actually like, you can't even understand what I'm saying? Hi. Hello, hello. We have maybe a couple more minutes. Ooh. Sorry, we're not going to be adding anyone in the live today, just myself and Natasha, once Natasha gets here. So I am just preparing myself. Which rock? This rock or or the crystal rock? Yeah, here it is. Yeah, I was trying to take all this blue off. I got 2 nails in. So it's just gonna look really bad. Hi. Yes, I remember. Yes, we are. We actually had gone live. Aussie and I went live yesterday on Instagram, just an impromptu one. So we might be doing, oh yeah, I'll eventually do something on this. It's a teal sapphire. So it actually matches the fact that I ended up getting a crystal. Thank you. Any tips to be more patient? I think it was doing a lot of inner work. Yes. Also, Natasha, at some point, if you come on in, just request to join me live and I will add you in. Yeah, inner work. How fun, right? Yes. Watch the whole season. Yeah, I haven't gone live very often. It's been a little while. Let me share this to Natasha really quick. Let's see. Where are you at? Natasha's like, I don't see you live right now. I'm definitely here. Or I can't find Natasha on here and I don't want to accidentally close the live. So if anybody wants to share this to Natasha, please add her for me. Let's see. Oh, you didn't finish yet. Yeah, you might get a little bit of spoilers. So let's see. So maybe not. That's up to you if you want to stay in here. Hi. Yes, somebody, if you would like to invite Natasha. Let's see. I might even have to pause this because when I try to share it, Natasha is not showing up on my easy send to. Let's see if I can find you. Oh, there we go. Let's see. S-E. Nope, not showing up here. Okay. I think I am going to have to copy the link and let me just text it, I guess. So if I freeze, I will be back. There we go. Yeah, so yes, definitely manifesting can be hard when working through healing and especially depression. Yeah, totally. And what I would say with that is learning to be gentle with yourself. Who's Natasha? Natasha is Tiff's friend. The infant is hand holding scene. That is so funny. Maybe you didn't finish yet. Finish the episodes yet. What was I saying? Oh, there you are. Okay, let me add you in. Or you can request to go live. If you press the button, I will accept you in. There you go. Well, let me just try. Oh, but you're going to be so little. I would rather add you as a host. But it's so hard to find
See
you.
me?
Are you able to put your video on?
Give me a sec. Oh my gosh.
There
Hey,
you are, except you're so little.
I'm
But
tiny.
it would have been
It's
so hard to
okay.
find you as a host.
I don't even know how to work this. I think you're the pro. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah,
There's so many things going on. I feel like I'm in like a video game.
no worries. I was just entertaining the crowd while we waited. You're good.
I'm over here last night in Madrid with the family and it's pouring rain. And so it took us longer to get to where I'm at now, but I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
I sort of introduced myself for the most part. Did you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, I like logged on as soon as you were like, "Who's Natasha?" So not everybody, not everybody knows me on here. Uh, so I'm from the Ultimatum Career Love. I'm Tiff's friend, and I'm the one that grabbed Sam's hand and kind of asked Tiff to hold her hand and that scene that everybody knows. If you've watched the show, you know it. And if you haven't, watch it, and you'll understand.
Yeah, a few people said they're not finished with the show yet. So I'm like, well, you might have some spoilers, so you're welcome to log off.
Yeah, yeah, log off because we're gonna be talking about some important things here.
Yeah. How long are you able to stay? Just so we know how much to like.
So I'm good. It's the last night in Madrid for my family. We leave tomorrow morning back to the States, and we just got to a cousin's house for dinner that was originally for 9:30 and it's 8:40. So I'm good for about 45 minutes tops.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I like have to check my schedule. I think I'm good too, depending on how long we want to go.
Yeah. How does this work with these video? There's no way to make me bigger, is there? So we're half and half.
Um, I don't know how to make it half and half. I've never seen anyone like do that here. I've only seen it on Instagram.
No big deal.
Um, yeah.
I just honestly
Some
don't
people have
understand
been
TikTok.
saying, yeah, I feel like people want you to
Those
have been the
settings.
host of the show.
The host, I know, I keep hearing about that. Honestly, that's like it's so intimidating, right? To be the host. I feel like
Yeah.
it's a lot to take on, but shit, I would do it.
Yeah, and maybe we would have to like tag team it so we can have like the host and the spiritual advisor.
I
I'll just like
know.
be pulling cards for people while we're.
Yeah. So I actually just found out behind the curve that you do tarot readings. Like I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah,
I'm gonna book a session with you.
yeah, and like I just got my first imposter account over the
Oh,
last
really?
week. Yeah, so
Cheers, by the
yeah.
way.
For those of you who just like joined in, I do have an imposter account. So if you have anyone messaging you for like donation readings, it's not me. Please report them as a scam.
Why are people so
Yeah,
terrible?
it's wild. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to get into some of these questions that
Let's
people have
do
been
it.
saying?
Let's do it. Well, first of all, I think we should get into the scene. So whoever hasn't watched the show and does not want a spoiler, log off. But what did you, so like I want to talk about the scene with the hand holding, which has become like what everybody talks about. Like, I want to know, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know because I've been getting a lot of messages. Like, how did you feel in that moment? I wanted people to understand that we were filming for like 8 hours. So somebody keeps saying rearrange the grid in the settings. I don't know what that means, but
Arrange the
maybe you could
grid
start
in
that.
the settings.
Yeah.
Um,
Literally like my cousin
see.
that's 11 years old. I need to have a consultation with her. She's like the pro
I
at this.
thought I like figured it out and then it just didn't happen.
I don't know, but somebody keeps saying that. So multi-guest, change layout, babe. I love how people talk.
Yeah,
I don't know how to do it. Sam's the host, so I'm
I
putting
only
it on
have the
her.
option to do grid and panel, and so it doesn't give me an option. I feel like if I added you as a host, but it wasn't easy to find your name under the host one,
Really?
so I wasn't
What
able to
about the
do that.
grid? Do you see anything under that?
Last time I did that, it was a total like a Brady Bunch style, and it was like just two tiny boxes and the whole thing. Uh,
Honestly, I haven't even brushed my hair since 9 a.m. and so I'm good. I'm good as a little square. Oh,
yeah, this is
panel
the
is
panel
probably
grid.
better. Do
But
panel. Do
yeah,
panel.
this is the panel grid.
Oh, this is the panel grid, guys.
Yeah. So as far as I've
I
known,
don't
a
know.
lot of the other lives I've seen, there's always like at least one person who's tiny. So that's, yeah, sorry.
Well, we'll figure it out for the next one. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I wanted people to know like that scene was 8 hours. I had flown in the night before or the morning of, I can't even remember, from DC. So went cross country after work. I was so jet lagged, and they were like, "We're gonna feed you, so don't eat," right? So I wake up and I'm like getting ready, super tired, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat there." And when I get there, I didn't even see you or Tiff. I get mic'd up, and when I come out, it's the first time I see Tiff and I meet Sam, and there's sushi on the table, and it's like this big, and I'm like, I'm not gonna eat sushi on camera, like this is crazy. So I was like just kicking back vodka, and first time meeting Sam, so I wanted to ask you, like, how did you feel when we met? What was running through your mind? And like, you can be honest, like you could be like, whatever you felt like. I think everybody just wants to know. Everybody's curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, a lot of the conversations that Tiff and I had, we were talking about things like intimacy, and part of the whole experience or the experiment was kind of building and growing an intimacy with someone else to kind of highlight things within your original relationship that was maybe like different, or you just needed to have a different perspective on. So we were already having a lot of those conversations around that. And so at some point, and I remember this so clearly because I remember, Natasha, that there was one point where I was like, I felt like you totally understood where I was coming from. And
Yeah.
like, I almost was like, my eyes got like slightly watery even when I remember
Yeah.
like you were saying something to Tiff about just like that level of closeness, and then it doesn't have to be like something that is romantic or even like sexual in nature, anything like that. It's literally just like we were just talking about this intimacy, and I
Yeah.
just I remember that. And so yeah, it wasn't something that I just like, oh yeah, I'll just go and like touch anyone's hand or like,
Right.
I just go and hand holds people. But it was like, it was definitely very much a part of the conversations that we were talking about, very relevant. And
Right.
it was like a really cool moment for me to experience too, even though I just met you.
Yeah, and I obviously felt that, right? Like I've seen a couple of people, not too many, but of course everyone's different. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and at the end of the day, people see a couple of minutes, right? I'm only in two scenes. Like you filmed the whole show. And I'm, the negative feedback that I've seen is like, you were really forcing Sam and Tiff. Like, why did you force them? Or Sam felt really awkward and like, it wasn't okay. And I understand how people felt that way. But they didn't know and they didn't experience the 8 hours we had together, right? And like I felt like I was seeing you like kind of sad, right? Like I was feeling this energy that I didn't like, and I didn't understand why Tiff wasn't given into the experiment and to the experience when I felt like you would have, right? Like, and it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be let's go have sex. No, it doesn't have to be that,
Yeah.
but like I do believe in energy and I do believe in physical touch, and even if it's just friends giving a hug to one another, like it transmits something that you feel, and it might spark something, or you might be like, gosh, this is like a family, this is a sister, this is like, and I feel like getting and transmitting that energy like helps you figure that out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
like again, there was a lot of content and a lot of conversations that were had that were not shown. And
Right.
at that, some things were very much shown, out of context. Or you see, these 2-minute clips that again, like Natasha said, it was actually like out of 8 hours of filming, right? So there's a
Right.
lot that was like missed within like just us talking and getting to know each other for a significant amount of time. And yeah, there was like a level of discomfort, but it wasn't like it wasn't like an uncomfortable, like I want to get out of here kind of discomfort. It was more of like an opening up. It was more of like an expressing of feelings discomfort,
Being
which
vulnerable.
is totally fair. It
We're
was
just being
a touchy
vulnerable, like
subject,
seriously.
and we had been dealing with that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, I think it was great, and I think it was a great moment that, and we got into deep conversations. Like there was so much that they didn't show. Where Tiff and I actually got into it, right? Like in a real raw way. Um, and I'm an outsider. I can only speak for the friend that I know, and I was just meeting you. But I wanted to push Tiff outside of their comfort zone, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I was trying to help initiate that. And it's okay that it didn't happen, right? Or you guys knew that it wasn't there or whatever, but that was the intention on my end. It was just like, hey, let's just see. Like maybe there is something that, because sometimes you have couples that like go to therapy, like couples counseling, and the therapist actually helps like try to just like, there are different tools that you can try together as a couple or when you first meet somebody to try to see if there's a spark, and that's just like what my intent was.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, even behind the scenes too, like there were a lot of these different like intimacy exercises that we would do or, based on our level of comfort. And so
Right.
that it just wasn't like how it seemed, which may have been like it may have felt like very forward or very like abrupt in the way that we're watching it. But
Yeah, yeah,
again,
yeah.
there was like a building up to
And
it.
how many of those exercises did you do? Was it like every time you filmed or what?
We probably did at least one every time we went on like a date. So,
Oh,
yeah, it wasn't totally, and it was like, it was actually really cool in some ways to like do these things. And it feels uncomfortable because it is somebody that, you're just meeting for the first
right.
time.
One, it's such like a fast pace, right? Like you have this partner you come on the show with, you leave them, and you start living with somebody else, and it's like, oh my gosh, like sometimes it takes you years to decide to live with the person you came with. So it's like kudos to you for trying, you know what I mean? I loved watching you. I think that you were like the healthiest one on the show, from what I saw. So I think that Tiff grew in many ways because of you, and I think that you did because of them. And I think it's a beautiful thing. So
Yeah, and I know some one of the questions that I remembered seeing that I thought would be interesting to answer too. Um, well, maybe I'll start with this one first. And it's just like, what did we think of each other when we first met? I think that's kind of a good.
I was like, who the fuck is this? I didn't know who you were. I was like, what is happening? I thought that Tiff like was poly and you were, I don't know, there was like a marriage. something happening behind the scenes. I was like, I just flew from DC and I'm meeting somebody and Mildred's not here. So
Right.
what is happening? You know what I
And I
mean?
can't remember how long you had been friends before that.
Oh my God, like a decade, I think. We don't
Yeah.
even know because we lived in the DC area and like I used to promote parties and I think it was at one of them or at a local gay bar. Like we always went out in our, younger 20s and we don't know. We don't know where we met.
But it
Somewhere
was a
around
long time. So you
a
have
long
like
time.
also been there through a lot of, the struggles that Tiff and Mildred had for how many years?
Well, not only that, but I knew Tiff's ex and I knew that relationship very, very well. We took trips together. I was closer with that ex than, per se than Mildred. So I knew Tiff's, how Tiff acted, how they love, how they interact with a partner. So I think that's what was neat that, I do know them for a while. So that helps.
Right, right.
You know?
So even just in the context of where you were coming from during those conversations, you also had a lot of that background. So again, it wasn't just like you didn't know them for that long, or you were just kind of seeing whatever you saw in those moments. Like you were coming from a different place of understanding. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
100%. And
yeah.
people keep saying that I should be the host, but I think you would be a great host.
I'm still
Honestly.
all for tag teaming it.
Yeah, tag teaming it. I'd love that. All
Because
right,
sometimes
so
the host needs support too, right?
100%. I think it's always best with two
Yeah.
hosts. But everyone has a different style. I don't know that world, and everyone's giving Jenna a bunch of crap, but I just don't understand why there wasn't a queer host.
And that's a
And
whole nother
the whole
conversation.
another topic.
Um,
But she's great, but she's great. All right, so
yeah.
let's dive into. I actually wrote these down because I've been just running with the family all day, and I'm just like ah. But I think we have a couple questions. I asked on my Instagram like if people had questions for us, and there were so many that came in, and like we just narrowed it down. So the first one that I have is for you, Sam. So if you could relive the experience, what would you do differently?
I thought this was a really good one. Also, again, if you haven't seen all of the show, including the
Log off,
finale and
log off.
reunion, like go out. I don't think you want to hear all of the spoilers that I'm about to give, but in hindsight, I feel like I would approach it a couple of ways where it was like if I knew what was going to happen by the end of it, how would I do
Mhm.
it versus if I was just going in cold again, like not knowing. I think one of the things for me is that I really, really wish that I had honestly been able to understand what Aussie was going through at the time. I feel like that was something that, like, even looking back on it, I just was not capable of having certain, like, tools of communication to be able to like validate the experience that Aussie was having at that time. And going into the reunion, like I didn't even know that Tiff and Mildred had been broken up. And so, like all of these things and leading up to it, I'm just like, I really wish that I could have like shown a different level of support, which I think could have also had things play out differently for both Aussie's experience and Tiff. Because I do remember like a distinct moment where it was that one scene where everybody just decides to like leave me and Vanessa just standing there and they all just like walk away. But that particular night, I just remember Tiff's whole like aura was just different. Like thinking about us having like the fun car rides and the Gertrude conversation and
Right,
Tiff
right,
like
right.
dancing around and we're like having a good time and then all of a sudden like we go back after what a couple weeks back with our original partner something
Right.
like that and I remember like Tiff's whole energy, whole aura was so shut down, closed off, just like it was like everything that we had been through together, it was just like back into this
Wait,
like
so when Tiff got back with Mildred and you would be together
mhm.
in like group settings, that's when you noticed that?
Oh yeah. And so
Right.
that's where like Aussie and Tiff were having conversations. And so I've heard Tiff talk about this on some of their lives like more recently about
Right.
not understanding or believing Aussie at the time because they were just so committed to Mildred and like what believing what Mildred
Right.
was saying about their trial marriage. And so that's one of the biggest things that I wish I would have understood better at the time because I think certain things might have played out a little bit differently. I'm a believer everything happens for a reason, and so I'm not
Yeah.
saying I necessarily have regrets, but that is something I wish I would have had more tools for at the time.
Yeah. But I mean, impossible, right? Like they
Yeah.
wouldn't allow you to know more than like the need to know.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
But that makes
absolutely.
sense. That makes sense. I feel like everybody would say, most people would say that. I wish I would know what was going on and how to best help like other people, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
it was tough to see that.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Oh yeah.
well,
Um,
thanks for answering.
And let's lighten it up a little bit. If you want to answer this, this is totally up to you. But I know you got a lot of questions asking about your relationship status.
My Lord,
Like a lot of
the
them.
women won't stop. You know, it's crazy. I was having I feel like I've been eating so much in Madrid. I can't even say it's lunch or dinner. I'm like, oh my God, we're always eating and drinking. But I was out in the street and like people recognize me in Madrid. And I'm just like, what? Like, they're like, are you Natasha? And I'm like, yes, but it's so weird, right? I'm like, I'm Tiff's friend. But anyway, so yes, I am single. But I'm scared to say that I'm single. So there's that. I'm like, I'm not looking. I'm not looking. I just want to be free. And I would love to just meet people with good energy and that's kind people and friends. Like that's all
Yeah.
I'm welcoming and that's all I'm saying is that I'm just welcoming friends. And if something happens, right? I can't control everything, but
Yeah.
I am not looking for a marriage or anything in that nature. So that's my
Yeah.
answer.
Sorry for all of you who are a bit disappointed by that, but that's a totally fair thing to do. And honestly, I think it's the best way to actually meet somebody is when you're not
Yeah.
looking, when you're not focusing on like not having someone and like that feeling of needing someone in order to be happy. I think like you
No.
just live in your life, like you're just gonna,
I
have
just need my
fun.
dog. I'm good to go. Dog play dates. All right, next question. Let's
Yeah.
see. Let's see. All right, Sam, do you still want to get married soon? If
That's
you are
so
not married
funny.
already.
I am not married yet. This is a mutual thing. This was not Aussie not wanting to. One of the things that I feel like I got out of the show too was that, and I'm gonna like add a lot of this extra like we have a lot of pressures from the way that your typical heterosexual relationship goes, and there's just always this constant pressure of like find somebody, get married, like get a house, get kids, like all of those. It's like
Yeah.
we almost
It's
feel
like,
this
what's
pressure.
next? Right,
Yeah, to
right,
like
right, right.
live on this specific timeline of events. And so
Yeah.
for me, I had to also realize like, it's not actually like the marriage that I was seeking for in that ultimatum. It was like a commitment and like a definite knowing that this is somebody that I want to spend my time and my life with. Like, I don't believe anybody should just be chained to each other just because they feel like they should. And so for
Right.
me, like, having my ring, having my commitment, going through that experience and coming out alive, and then going through the release of the show and coming out alive, I'm like, I think we're pretty good. And marriage is not going to give me any more security than I
Right.
already have.
And I think that's awesome because you recognize that you're not somebody that's like, I need the marriage in order to feel like I have this person, like they're mine and I'm theirs, right? There are a lot of people that all they're worried about is the marriage, and that's what I was worried about with Mildred. is
Right.
like I feel like the people that need the reinsurance for the marriage, like they want to tie somebody down and it's for the wrong reasons, you know what I mean? But I totally understand having the commitment because you could be with people for or somebody for 10 years and be like, "Yeah, I want to get married," but until you don't actually make a next step or make it known to your partner, they don't know if you're serious or if one day you're going to wake up and be like, hey, it's over, right? So I get that and
Yeah.
I respect that. So do you have any plans? I'm totally not trying to pressure like what we just talked about, but people are asking
Honestly,
like, or you're good.
not, yeah, like not right now. It's just not
Awesome.
like, it's just not something that we honestly care about right now. Even just like logistics and planning for it, it's not like you just decide, oh yeah, we want to have a wedding and then it just happens, unless you're gonna like
Right,
elope and you just have to like schedule a time.
right,
There's like a lot that goes into it, and I'm just like wanting to kind of write things out and get things going that we want to do, like promoting things like mental health and, having conversations like this. I wouldn't have the energy to do it.
and enjoy it, right? And I have a question from myself. How, and I know nothing about this, I just remember hearing something, but how's is Ozzy's family on board at all or no?
Aussie's family's in Australia. So,
Okay.
yeah, like for the most part in terms of like the family conversation, we're kind of just waiting to see if Aussie feels like wanting to talk about it or not. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, for the most part we're just kind of like keeping it under wraps and just like, you know,
So tough. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I can't imagine. Like, it's so tough being in that situation and having a family that's like, you have to maneuver in a way. And I feel for them. It's crazy.
And I would also say too, to add a little bit of context to it, like
Yeah.
when we put things into perspective, it also can change the entire story. Like I had come out of a previous relationship where that person was not out, and that was 4 years, right? So in
4 years?
context, I was in a relationship where I was like having to hide my entire being, and it was like 4 years of a lot of paranoia and just like, so going from that to the situation now, it's like this is easy
Right.
compared to
But
that.
what
This is
about
so
what about
easy.
the show? Somebody just made a good point. What about the show? Did Ozzy's family see the show?
I would say it's probably kind of similar to what Ray said in, I think, one of like the interviews or something, like, I
Yeah.
don't even know if my mom knows how to work a TV. Like
Oh, right,
I
right, right.
just don't, I
You
don't
just
know
don't
if
know.
we see it just happening across, like, do they even have Netflix? I don't know.
Well, you know what? As long as you, like, I always think as long as you have your bond and your foundation and your strength together to lean on, and knowing that the other person is committed to you, the family, it is what it is. Like
Yeah, yeah,
they'll have to figure it out, jump on board or not. But as long as y'all are strong,
right,
that's all you need.
right.
You know what I mean? You're building your
Yeah.
family.
And I'm grateful for the experience that I had before because it gave me something to like reflect on, right? It wasn't like this wasn't my first time experiencing this. So when it came to me deciding like does this make sense for me or not? Like I've put a lot of thought into it. So it's not like I just decided like, oh, I have no idea what to expect and I'm just gonna like go through with this. Like no, there was a lot of
Yeah.
care, there was a lot of intention, and there was a lot of thought that went into all of it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
like
can imagine.
appreciate everyone's, concern to an extent, but we have put a lot of thought into our
Sam, it's your
decision.
life.
Yeah, it is.
It's your life, girl. The rest is white noise. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Live your life and
yeah.
be happy, both of you.
We
All right,
accept in the
next.
support, but
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see. Let's see. In my handwriting, that's so terrible
one of
because
the
we
other
just like.
ones,
Yeah, go
how was
ahead.
it seeing yourself on Netflix? Like, how was it seeing yourself on TV?
Ooh, not great, not great.
No?
No, I'm not. So something that nobody, I think, well, only some people know about me is my mom was a famous actress in Venezuela, right? So when I was little, I always grew up in the studios and behind the cameras. And my mom always tried to push me to be in novelas and soap operas and all this stuff. And I would just get on there and like cry and like run away. And I never wanted to be on camera, right? So it's very ironic because when I went to film with y'all, like seeing the production and the behind the scenes gave me this feeling of being home in a way because that's how I grew up. So it was so sweet. I loved it. I loved everything about it. And what's Natasha's mom's name? Jahaira Paredes. If you can spell it out, you can find it. But anyway, so when I saw myself on camera, I was very nervous because I've always dealt with my own insecurities like everybody, and I have a lot of body image issues and a lot of like just self issues that, I'm 35 and I'm still working through. So it was hard. I was like, oh God, I'm dreading it, but it's okay. I'm gonna be in and out, right? Like nobody's gonna notice. That's what I was thinking. So I wasn't really looking forward to it, but I made it fun and it was therapeutic for me to get over that, like that obstacle, and it helped me. And I was like, you know what? That's me. Like that's who I am. Like I need to be happy and look at myself and be like, you know what? You're on TV. That's how you look, and it's all good. Like keep it moving. So it was good. It was a good, I think, obstacle for me to get through, and I enjoyed it at the end. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have fun with it and that's it. So it was cool.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, including myself, can like relate to part of that, of just like we tend to be our own worst and harshest critics. And so I
Yeah.
definitely went through that as well. But I think one of the cool things too is that a lot of us were doing a lot of things that you can't necessarily see in a very like with your eyes kind of way, right? Because that was your
Yeah.
personal journey, and unless you speak on it, no one would ever know you were working through that and like
Right.
healing from that, or bringing your attention and awareness towards the way that you view yourself. And so
Right.
I can totally relate. I did a lot of that myself. There's a lot of moments where I cringe looking at my face on the
I
screen.
know. It's just like
But
normal to be like, oh my
yeah,
God. Like, ugh. I can't
yeah,
imagine a whole show. I'm like, I feel, and that's why I always say, like, yo, like, be kind to these people, like, people that are on TV. I say it when I watch a Bachelor, Bachelorette, all these things. I love trash TV because it's like my my moment to decompress. And I'm like, just be kind to these people that are coming. I don't understand death threats. I don't understand people that leave comments on the internet, that sit behind a screen and say mean things. Like, why? I don't get it. But it's all good. I'm not like that. I don't want to be associated with it. Um, but yeah, I think everyone in their own way works through that, you know?
yeah.
I admire people that don't. I'm like, damn, like, good for you. Like, you're doing something great, but it's hard.
Right. And I think that was one thing that we discussed a lot too before even deciding to participate in this experiment, is
Right.
we kind of realized that it does take a certain level of like awareness and intention of who you are as a person before going into something like this. Because after, I mean, granted with Aussie's situation too and receiving a lot of backlash, like we couldn't have expected any of that. Like it's just
Yeah.
so like there's a detachment from it until you actually experience it. But I think one of our big saving graces was that we did develop a pretty decent sense of who we were first. And so that was easier to stay grounded in when it came to certain moments and standing in our truth and standing in our power. It's like, and that was one of the things I had to call on when I was having that like the the arguments or the heated passionate conversations with Tiff about Shiloh, right? It was like
Yeah.
I had to get to the remembrance of I know who I am, and I know that like I feel myself trying to prove myself, and like why am I doing that? And once that light bulb moment happened, then it
Hmm.
was all good because I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get, none of this is going to like affect my idea of who I am because I remember who I am. And like, yeah, that was
Well, and
so,
knowing who you are is so
oh yeah.
different, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
somebody, I mean, gosh, I'm a pure dog lover, right? I am somebody that does not understand someone that does not like dogs. But everybody is different, and like when I saw that whole argument, I was I don't know if proud is the right word, but like you both resolved it. I wish it would have been a little better, from Tiff's side, but they worked through it and you both resolved it and were able to come to like an agreement, right? And I think that's what makes a partnership is like you're both different, and I think understanding that the other person is different than you. Like not everyone is going to
Mhm.
love dogs. Not everyone is going to love X, Y, and Z, but learning how to work through that and communicate through that without exploding and making that into, an aggressive behavior or whatever is beautiful. And you
Right.
both did that.
Oh yeah, like we had some really cool healing moments together off
Yeah.
camera that wasn't shown, and some like major breakthroughs where even when Aussie ended up moving in and we were back with our original partners, we would jokingly call it the House of Healing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, where it's just like, come here and work on your inner child.
That's so awesome. But I mean, every time I talk to Tiff, like they're like they speak so highly of you.
Oh yeah.
Like they're like, "Oh my gosh, Sam, like love Sam." Like it's never I think you seriously helped Tiff grow so much. And in such a short period of time you can expand yourself so much. It's amazing.
And really, the whole like process with figuring out the situation with Shiloh, like that was
Yeah.
probably the first solid week. So it was like a whole week of that tension, and then we were starting to
You're
work
like,
it
"Wait, I
out.
got a new partner and I got a dog."
Yeah.
What am I? You're
And
like,
so
"Nah."
we had like 1 week where we were just like in the flow of just having fun and enjoying each other's company. And like, it was, we were
Right.
like so glad we got to have a nice like ending to it, because
Right.
unfortunately for like Aussie, for example, it was the opposite. And like, I would much rather have the difficulties in the beginning and end on a good note.
I know. Gosh, seeing Ozzy has Ozzy's I mean, we only saw a snippet, right? But like has Ozzy's communication has it improved because of the show, you think?
I would say it wasn't so much that Aussie's communication was lacking. I would say that is a lot to do with editing in a way that you just can't see again the full conversation, right? Like
Right.
there's a lot of context to a lot of these conversations, and we see like 5 seconds. What
Context to
is
a lot
really
of these
cool about the show?
conversations, and we see like
Let me
five
go into
seconds.
what
Context to
is
a lot
really
of these
cool about the
conversations, and we see like
There's
five
like an echo
seconds.
on my end.
What is one of these
show?
conversations, and we
Hold
see
on.
like
Is that my
five
end?
seconds. What is one of these conversations, and we see like
Let
Is
me
it good?
try to.
I might have to leave and come back.
Do you want to try muting?
All
Oh,
right.
it seems like
Perfect.
it went
I can
away.
hear you now.
I
It
just
was
like
stuck. It was like repeating what
muted
you said.
my mic and
It
unmuted
sounded
it.
like a nice remix for for Pride. Oh
So
my
what I was
gosh.
gonna say is like it was more that we just like Aussie was speaking from like this like radio station, and I was speaking from this radio station, and we were just not like
Right.
matching at the same point. And so this is something we're going to talk a lot more about, and like even working with like bringing in mental health professionals to like chat with us about it live. But it was coming to the understanding of like I was not able to validate Aussie's experience at the time because I was also confused. I didn't know what was going on. And so in retrospect too, I can see where I could have, said things differently of like,
Right.
I totally get where you're coming from, and that must really suck. Like just approaching it differently and
Yeah.
validating, and that doesn't have to cross my own boundaries. And so it wasn't so much like I was a good communicator and Aussie was a bad one. It was more just like we needed to learn how to speak the same language, which is the
Yeah.
same thing we see in like taking the love language test, right? It's not
Right.
about one is better than the other. It's about how can we come to a mutual understanding, and that's what we got out of it, which I'm so like
Yeah.
appreciative of.
And you're bringing up a great point, the love languages, right? Like I think, when I was married and I was trying couples therapy and trying to make it work, and you try to make it work, um, and you learn that everyone gives love differently, everyone receives love differently, right? So I may show you that I really love you in a way of buying you gifts, and you may receive it by physical touch. And unless you don't connect the dots and understand that about each other, you're not going to get anywhere. So
Oh yeah. Oh
that's a
yeah.
super, super great point. So I want to ask you, what do you do for a living with the tarot? Like you do tarot readings, people are curious. I'm curious because I'm like trying to book a session here. So what do you do? What do you do?
I generally call myself more of like a freelancer slash entrepreneur. I love doing all the things.
Okay.
So tarot is like one aspect of it. I've been building an advocacy community since early last year as well. And so, Aussie and I are also both board members for, a gender-based violence, human rights, like trans organization. And so we're doing a lot of that kind of stuff. And it's just one of the many things that I do. I also do virtual assistant work on the side. And so I kind of just
Wow.
do a lot of different like freelance type of stuff. I'm not meant to be a traditional worker.
Yeah, no, I mean you have like and I sensed this when I met you, like you have a really beautiful energy, like a soothing, calming, peaceful energy that I want to be around. And I feel like other people feel that as well.
Oh, this was like massive inner work.
Yeah.
Massive inner work.
Oh.
One of the things that I talk about occasionally is like, I did have a relationship that was like in my high school years, and I would absolutely consider that an emotionally abusive relationship. I was
Hmm.
definitely codependent, anxious attachment, all of the things. And so it really has been my spiritual journey and, learning about myself and going through this process over the last several years that has gotten me to that point. So it's like by no means am I just like this. I worked through a lot of stuff and I'm still working through it.
You
But
know what? Like, I feel
yeah,
like once you go through enough bullshit, you get to a point where you're like, I'm gonna be calm because I already know if I flip out, things are gonna get crazy. No, like it's like I feel like that too. It's like once like I said, like you go through so much, it's like you don't want to waste energy on things
right,
that are not like it's like there's so many and people keep bringing up something that I really want to address that has nothing to do with the live, but I have not been able to sleep over the tourists stuck in the submarine. Like the shit like that hits me so hard that I'm like, it's all I'm thinking about. And I did want to say that I am like thinking about these people and I hope that they get rescued. Time is running out and I'm just I'm just, feeling
yeah,
terrible over it. And I know a lot of people are as well. I just wanted to put that out there because I've been seeing a couple people address it.
yeah,
Can't
thank you.
imagine.
Yeah,
Unimaginable.
yeah,
All right. Let's see. I do have another question for you. Let's see. Well, I guess we did answer all of my questions because what did we think of each other when meeting? And I think we
yeah,
we discussed
yeah.
that already.
I think I think we did pretty good with answering all the questions.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many more, right? Like I've got
Yeah,
so many questions and I'm like, we can't answer all of them on a live, but
I mean, I can say that I was grateful that you came on there because again, you did have a certain understanding of Tiff's experiences for how many years. You did kind of know them and maybe their tendencies or how they normally navigate a relationship. And you had also had your own life experience. And so, yeah, I think there was something to say about those of us who had been through some things, right? We were able to
hmm.
approach things differently. We were able to kind of dig a little bit deeper under the surface rather than the very like high level stuff. And so I
Yeah, me
think
too.
all of it was just part of the whole journey and it was part of the self discovery and all contributed to the healing process. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
I
I
was
think
grateful to have met you.
yeah, you too. I mean, I think you're great and you're like obviously my favorite besides Tiff. And I think you help them so much, and I think you're a beautiful human being. So I love your aura,
Thank you.
and I am serious about booking a session with you, so I'm gonna text you after this.
Yeah, go for it.
To see. I always get my cards read. I'm like waiting for somebody to be like, this is what's gonna happen and be straight up, but
Yeah, though I do focus on subconscious healing work. So for those who are not
really,
ready for that, like it's not just like, oh, this is what's in your cards for next month. No, I go deep. So
really. Wait,
yeah.
I like that and people like that.
Yeah.
So how do people get like information on what you do?
I right now I have my wait list. The link is in my bio on my Instagram as well as here. And just a reminder, if anyone popped in late, like there is a scammer out there, so I will never message you to like donate to me or pay through a message. So always go through my link. But it has some information a little bit on how I work on there, and then the waitlist link is there too. So, but
Is
you get VIP status. You don't have to wait two
I
months.
was gonna ask, is there anything I can do to bump bump up? When you go to the club and you're like, hey, can I give you $50 to get in front of the line? No,
Yeah,
that's great.
you'll just text me. You'll be good.
No, no, no. I'll wait in the line, but I really, 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 really want to do that. I love that. I actually I'm so interested in getting a session with a medium because
Yeah,
I'm so connected like spiritually to
yeah.
the world.
My friend Lori, we did a couple of lives
What up,
last
Tiff?
1 or 2
Sorry.
weeks ago. Oh, Tiff's here?
Tiff's on here. Tiff, you missed the damn conversation. We talked about you the whole time. Wait,
Where's
we can
Tiff?
record that. We can save this, right?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just gonna do that really quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even remember what we were saying now. It's all good.
What up?
Hey,
What's up,
Hey,
Tiff?
we're literally
what's
gonna
up,
be
ultimatum
wrapping up.
fans?
How you doing?
How you
I love
doing?
how Tiff's just like around San Diego with an AirPod, like, yo, what's up?
What's up?
Yeah, you pretty much
It's the
missed the whole
San Diego life.
conversation, but it's cool. We'll do another one.
Yeah, recap. Why you said that you two were gonna do like an
Yo.
alone live?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, you could
so
have
you just
still
jumped in.
watched it.
Did
You
you?
could have jumped in the video
Yeah.
when we joined.
Did y'all? All I want to know. All I want to know is, did y'all hold hands like behind my back? Like, what's going on?
Oh, you know what? That was another question that people keep asking me. They're like, yo, like, are you and Sam a thing? I'm like, are you kidding me? No. No, not whatsoever. Sam is like
I got my ring
friend
on,
status.
everyone's.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Tiff,
Tiff,
are you
where are you
talking?
right
I can't
now?
hear you.
Oh, you're muted right now. Tiff is so funny. They're like, yo, I'm at the bar. Let me pop my AirPod in and talk to
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
we
can hear
can
me
hear
now.
you.
Okay, sorry, we have to retract because I had a call coming in. All I want to know is, did y'all hold hands like in this live? That's
I can't. Tiff, what time is it where you're at? Like 10 a.m.?
no 12:30, and I'm not at the bar. I'm at the coffee shop.
Oh, I love coffee shops. I'm gonna come visit you, I think, next month.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for Pride. Please come.
Look, here's a whiskey. It's 9:30 p.m. in Madrid.
Oh my gosh, you're
I
still
have
in
iced
Europe?
coffee.
I leave tomorrow morning. I leave
I
to
love.
back to the States tomorrow morning. So
Nice.
I'm like
Okay.
super red. It's so hot
Um,
here. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I do want to come out
there's
there.
so many.
When are you gonna come to DC? Both of you.
I know. I know. I need to go to DC. I need to visit home again. Probably in the next like 2 months. Definitely. Definitely.
Let's do something so we can. My grandmom is like getting drunk in the other room, guys. People keep asking about
Can
her.
you say hi to Abuela for me?
Do you want to? You want to see her?
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm gonna say hi. But
Yeah.
hey,
Let's talk to
like I was
Abuela.
thinking that we could do a taste party and you could come to DC. And Sam, if
I
you're
love it.
available.
That sounds
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
I'm just gonna say hi to Abuela, and then I'm gonna have to log off in
Yeah.
a minute, okay?
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm ready to have lunch too.
Okay.
All right, hold on. This is
Okay.
my family in Madrid,
Hola,
Hi.
and abuela. Di hola, abuela.
abuela.
Hola.
¿Cómo estás, abuela?
¿Quién es ella? ¿Cómo está?
Hi. ¿Cómo estás?
Di hola.
Oh,
Hola, hola. Pero no me
hola.
oye.
Okay, she doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
Ya estoy terminando. She doesn't speak English, but she says hello and she loves everybody.
Oh.
All
I
right?
caught a little bit of it.
You did?
Yeah.
So we were in the, I was telling Tiff, you missed it. I was telling Sam we were in the streets of Madrid today and somebody recognized me. And they're like,
Oh,
is
for real?
Abuela
In
here?
Madrid? Is
Dude, in
abuela?
Madrid. Yeah, like several people have recognized me and they're like, is Abuela with you? And I'm like,
Oh my God.
it's reached
Tell-
Abuela.
I know. Tell abuela, te extraño.
Oh, I will tell her.
Te extraño.
I'll
Yeah.
take it on video.
Dude, that's crazy. You're getting recognized in Madrid. That's funny.
Dude, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's like
just,
y'all are worldwide.
I I've had, well, this morning I was on a walk to get coffee, and someone literally stopped in dead traffic. I was like, Tiff, is that you? And like almost ran into somebody. I'm like, oh my God.
God.
I've had people like scream out their cars, like, Tiff! And I'm like, oh my God, hello. Yeah,
You look
it's
good.
cute. It's funny.
You look good
Thank
with
you.
the shades and shit. I'm like, damn.
I know. I'm wearing pink today.
Answer,
Is that
answer
why I
this.
changed into pink?
Oh my God, I think I'm wearing like I don't know.
Are
salmon?
We're all matching.
Salmon? I don't know. We are all man.
Right.
But
Feedback
Tiff, you look
again.
like you're wearing purple. We are all man.
Wait, what's that feedback sound?
Hold on, you gotta
Oh my God,
mute
there's
it.
feedback.
Mute it and come.
Feedback sound.
Hold on, you gotta mute it. Mute it.
Oh my God, there's so much feedback.
Mute it. Mute it. Mute it.
Me? Oh my God, there's so much feedback.
Mute it. Mute it. Mute it. All right. All right. I don't know what's happening. Sam, you muted.
Natasha, I feel like it's yours. Well, I
Okay, I think
think
it's done.
that's our time to go.
Yeah, I think that's our
Wow,
time,
y'all
too.
just had a whole blown ass date without me.
Wow, y'all just had a whole.
I see how y'all were. I see what y'all are up to.
Tiff, call me.
All right,
Call
I'm
me.
gonna close this now. This is getting out of
Okay,
hand.
we're done.
Bye.
We're done.
Nice talking with you.
Bye.